Hey y'all, welcome to Kamira's Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make a juicy, delicious, butter injected, full of flavor, whole roast turkey for Thanksgiving. Now y'all, this turkey is so delicious. It's easy to make. Everyone is going to go crazy for how buttery and delicious this turkey is. Now, I have already did a video on how I dry brined this turkey. This is a 17-pound bird, okay? But I am just going to give a brief overview for those of you who may not have seen that video. If you want more detail, I will link it in the description box. So I've already washed my turkey. I've dried it off very thoroughly. And this is 3 tablespoons of kosher salt, specifically Morton's kosher salt, because not all kosher salt is the same size. You don't use table salt. You don't use Himalayan pink salt, no sea salt, none of that fancy stuff, okay? You use kosher salt. And I'm taking 1 tablespoon per 5 pounds of turkey. I have a 17-pound turkey, so I am using 3 tablespoons, and the additional salt that will be needed will come when I season the bird. Some of those seasonings have a little bit of salt. I don't mind airing a little bit on the lower side, okay? So guys, I am going to rub this turkey down on the skin and under the skin all over with this kosher salt. You need it on the skin so that the skin dries out and the salt pulls the moisture out of the skin, and you need it on the meat so that that salt can penetrate down to the bone. Okay, I'm going to stick this in the fridge for 2 days. The air is going to circulate around it. You do not cover it. Okay, that's very important. If you cover it, then that skin is not going to dry out and you're not going to get crispy skin. For a bird this big, I feel like at minimum you need 24 hours, but if you can't do anything, 12 hours is okay. Now this is 2 days later, and look how it's looking, y'all. It's looking dried out, okay? But this is the secret to getting a moist turkey. Moving on to the compound butter and the seasonings. Now, y'all, I don't want you to get a heart attack when you see these 8 sticks of butter. Because, baby, we using all 8 sticks of that butter, okay? Trust me, you just going to have to trust on this one, okay? Y'all, I am going to be taking my thyme, rosemary, and sage, and I'm going to cut them up finely. It needs to be very finely because if you make them too big, these herbs are not going to be able to go through the injector. Going to add all 8 sticks of your softened, unsalted butter to a bowl. I like to choose a bowl that is also microwavable, and you'll see why a little bit later. I'm going to put in 1/2 tablespoon of roasted garlic bouillon. I mean, you could roast your own garlic, but I ain't doing all that, okay? Then I'm putting in 1 tablespoon of Cajun seasoning, 2 tablespoons of onion powder, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of poultry seasoning, and 1/2 teaspoon of MSG. MSG is also sold as Accent. It's a flavor enhancer, but it's optional if you don't want to use it. I'm going to zest 1/2 lemon and also put in its juice. And I feel like it was easier to just use my beaters to work with all this butter, because y'all using the spoon was not it. It was not it. And now we was beating it up just like frosting. And guys, this compound butter tastes delicious. So you know it's going to get that turkey right. Now I have everything that I am going to either stuff in the turkey or put under the turkey in the pan, using green bell pepper, 4 carrots, a bulb of garlic, 2 onions, and 4 ribs of celery. You're going to give a rough chop to your produce, but I am going to cut one of the onions in half and keep that half whole, and I will use that portion to close the cavity of the turkey. So I'll place that to the side. Now, y'all, this the fun part. Okay, listen, we gonna get up in there. This ain't the time to be wearing gloves and be afraid of the turkey, because you gonna be all up in this turkey business. You understand what I'm telling you? You got to put your hand under that turkey skin and just rub that compound butter all into every crevice, especially on the breast, because that is the part that tends to be dry. I like to pick up a mass of the butter, kind of cup it in my hand, turn my hand down so that it doesn't sort of come off of my hand while I'm trying to get it back into the deeper parts. And then I will use my other hand to massage the butter down to the places where I cannot reach easily. Under the skin, you want to use the equivalent of about a stick and a half to 2 sticks of butter. Between putting the butter under the skin and on top of the skin over the turkey, you are going to be using about half of this compound butter mixture. That sounds like a lot, but remember, this is a 17-pound bird. And to be honest, you can use this much butter even if you have a 13-pound bird, because turkey just tends to be dry. If you have a turkey that is bigger than this, say a 21-pound turkey, then hey, you might want to go up to 9 sticks of butter, because you need to have enough to be able to inject the bird well. That is really important. This compound butter we're putting on the inside of the skin adds seasoning. It helps to baste the turkey. And then the compound butter we're going to put outside of the skin, that is going to help with seasoning, browning, and a little bit of basting, kind of the initial basting. But of course, with the turkey, you end up having to go back in and baste some more. So that butter on the skin contributes a lot to the color and a bit of the flavor because it does have seasoning. Once I rub the butter on the wing, I'm also going to tuck the tip of both of the wings. If you are finding that your butter is not sticking to the outside well, that means the skin of your turkey is wet, or it's at least wet in those areas. So you can take a paper towel and dab it. But if you've dry brined, you shouldn't have this issue. That's another reason why I prefer dry brining over wet brining, because you tend to just get a drier skin right from the jump. And I know what some of y'all are thinking. Girl, I don't need no 8 sticks of butter. I can just get the same result with 2. You won't, and it can't. Okay? You need a minimum 6. You need a minimum 6. Alrighty? So y'all, I am going to now stuff my bird with all of the vegetables as well as a bundle of herbs. I just get real crazy with herbs because I grow them in my garden and they are free for me. Okay? Guys, I'm also going to stick some vegetables under the roasting pan. Those are going to mix with the drippings from the turkey and add a very good flavor to the broth. And I will also add a little rosemary, thyme, and sage down there as well. Here is my half an onion. I'm going to stick that in the opening of the cavity. These stuffed vegetables really help keep the turkey propped up, and it keeps the breast from collapsing. You could stuff it with stuffing, but I just don't prefer that. I like the vegetables. I'm going to tie off those legs and snip the ends. And y'all, if y'all think this bird gonna be good and juicy and delicious, go ahead and drop me a heart in the comments. I'm going to add 4 cups of water to the roasting pan. You can use chicken broth, but I feel like there's enough flavor that's going to come out of this turkey. I'm then going to set the rest of the compound butter to the side, and we're going to use that a bit later. To make cooking a turkey easy, I always suggest using a temperature probe. Now you can get a probe that you can manually just keep sticking in the turkey every hour, every 45 minutes. But for me, it is just easier to use a temperature probe that I could preset, and then I can set it and forget it. So I'm going to stick one in the breast meat and one in the dark meat, making sure that I avoid the bone. My oven has already been preheated to 400 degrees, and I'm sticking this turkey on the bottom rack. That is really important. The breast of the turkey is so high that even though it's on the bottom rack, this is actually the center of the oven for the turkey. I'm going to cook this for 1 hour uncovered. It's going to start the skin getting crispy and looking beautiful. I'm going to take this out, and then I am going to start injecting this turkey with melted butter. I melted the rest of the butter, y'all. So this is about 4 sticks of butter. I'm going to fill up my injector, and then I'm going in there like Dr. Miami. Okay, we are going to be injecting everywhere that we can. Okay, but you especially need to make sure that you hit up all parts of the breast, especially the deepest part of the breast, because this is really where the turkey gets dry, right? This is where there's not that much fat. So you're going to see me go in multiple times, and I am also going to inject in the thigh and the drumstick. To me, a homemade butter injection tastes better than anything that you can get at the store. Even though I have used those before, I just like this better. But if you do want to use a store-bought injection, hey, more power to you. But this is going to give you a super juicy turkey right here. Now, I did not use all of this. Okay, I left behind the equivalent of maybe a stick and a half of butter. And then I'm going to take a flour sackcloth. I can just get these real cheap at Walmart. I cut it in half, and I'm going to just toss it in the leftover seasonings and butter. We are going to lay this over our turkey tight like you putting on a wet t-shirt. Okay, you can cut off any excess because you want this to cling to the turkey. Now, there are some spots that are dry on this, and I'm just going to use the pan drippings to moisten this in order to get it to cling better. You could use a cheesecloth, but because cheesecloths are more expensive, I feel like using the flour sackcloth is a better option and is going to do the same job. Okay, it's going to do the same job. So that's the part of the flour sackcloth that I cut off. I just threw that away. You can get quite a few of these for just a couple bucks. I'm going to lower the temperature of the oven to 325 degrees. And every hour or so, I'm going to baste the turkey. Just look at it and see when you feel like it's looking dry. Okay, you need this to cook until at the deepest part of the breast, it is at least 155. That's when I take it out. Okay, now you could take it out at 160 if you want to feel like you're going to be on the safer side. But what you shouldn't do, in my opinion, is take it out at 165, because at 165 it is already going to carry over until about 175, and I feel like the breast is going to be a bit drier. By cooking the turkey on the lowest rack, you're going to be able to get that dark meat up to a higher temperature. I like to get my dark meat up to at least 180, even more. Okay, that really breaks down that collagen and that fat in that dark meat. So at about 3.5 hours, my turkey was like 180 in the dark meat and about 155, 156 in the breast meat. And you have to let that turkey sit and rest for about an hour. That is where the carryover temperature takes your turkey to 165 in the breast. Okay. Now, y'all, this turkey is looking beautiful. Do you see the beautifully colored skin? I'm just going to baste this with a little bit of that butter drippings that have come down. I'm going to tint this with foil and allow it to rest for an hour after I took it out of the oven. You cannot just take this out of the oven and cut straight into this and say, we having Thanksgiving dinner. Because then, baby, all the juices are going to run out and then your meat is going to be dry. If you think she purty, go ahead and put a turkey emoji in the comments, y'all. Because this girl right here, isn't she lovely? Y'all see I added some herbs, some oranges, cranberries, just to make her festive. And I know y'all see that crispy skin. Well seasoned turkey, certainly worthy of being a centerpiece on your holiday table. And look at the river of butter that's flowing. The turkey is moist, well seasoned down to the bone. Your guests will love this turkey because it is so good. It is juicy and so well seasoned, and the skin is absolutely delicious. Now, guys, I am also going to show you how you can take the pan drippings and make the best turkey gravy. Imagine butter infused, Cajun flavored turkey gravy. While my turkey was resting, I just took the pan drippings and I cooled them off a bit in the fridge so I could separate the butter from the broth. And as you see, there's a whole lot of butter. Okay, now this butter, we're going to use at least a stick of this so that we can make a bucket of gravy. You can make like so much gravy with this, but I'm just going to show you how to make a small portion, because you know everybody literally loves gravy at Thanksgiving. And so I'm going to take about a stick of butter, and then I'm going to add a half of a cup of flour, and I'm going to cook off that flour for about a minute or so until it starts simmering just like this. Then I am going to add in all of the drippings. These drippings and this butter is highly flavored to the point where it's almost a little too strong, okay? Since it is concentrated, I am going to add some boiling water to this once this starts to thicken up. You could also add unsalted turkey or chicken broth to thin this to your desired consistency. And I did not need any extra seasonings. This was literally ultra delicious. I want you guys to let me know, are you going to try this turkey recipe? And what about this gravy? I'll see you next time in Kamira's Kitchen. Goodbye and happy Thanksgiving.